Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about one of the more challenging things for a fiction author may very well be to come up with story ideas. Where do you get them? How do all the great authors come up with something to work on? Well, my friends, stay tuned and I will give you my 11 tips for coming up with story ideas. Tip number 1. Wait for it. The suspense builds, I bet, isn't it? Can they just come out of thin air? Maybe not, but then... Oh my goodness. I guess you can pull them out of thin air. Sort of like those flashes of insights that come to you, in which case you need something to mark them down. Like a notepad, if you're old school. Or if you are old school, you can probably kind of still have that trusty old smartphone which has a notes app or anything like that to get it down in a hurry so it doesn't slip out of your mind like it hit a banana peel in your brain somewhere. Tip number 2, play the old what if game. You may have already heard that before, but this was, in a way, the basis for Jurassic Park. What if the two most dominant life forms in the planet's evolutionary history had to battle it out? 5 ideas to start with are: what if alien abductions were real? Or what if life on planet Earth was due to an alien biological experiment and they were about to end it? What if time travel was really possible? Or what if cars and other modern forms of transportation were never invented? Or what if the government in a democracy like the USA, Canada, or anywhere else is overthrown by the military? It's happened in third world countries, so think of what leads up to it here and the aftermath. Tip number 3, random word association. You can use a website like randomwordgenerator.com and come up with a story based on the word it gave you. Or take a dictionary and open it to any random page like this. Then close your eyes and run your finger up and down the page while you count to 10. I'm not going to actually count to 10, but you get the point. Then, when you stop, your fingers on a word like fable, see what you can how you can develop that into a story. You can also use writing prompts, like I suggested in my How to Overcome Writer's Block video, to come up with a story idea. The link for that video is in the description. Tip number 4, current events or issues. Think of how any event, big or small, could play out in a fictional world. Anything like when a cruise liner ran aground, like that's happened before, and you know. Could it be a terrorist attack, and how would that play out? You could also be inspired by your dreams. Cheers, by the way. Water, not vodka. I don't drink on the job. Have you had any vivid dreams or nightmares that you can remember? That would be an excellent source for a story. The Iron Maiden song The Number of the Beast was actually written about a nightmare the bass player Steve Harris had. Reportedly, anyway. Have you ever had a dream where you were running from something or someone? Play with that to see where it goes. Tip number 6, you can always create a twist on an old cliche. Think up any cliches or anything like that you've seen in any movies or books, the tired old tropes type of stuff. Something like the villain is bad just because, and well, really no reason for that. Other than that, surely you can do better than that, can't you? I mean, every villain has a backstory that brought them to where they are. Explore that while developing the character, but be sure to avoid the other cliche of the tragic backstory. So a play on that could be perhaps the villain was raised in a certain way, not necessarily abused or anything like that, but simply thought that's how people lived. A good book to read on that is 13 Steps to Evil by Sacha Black, which I reviewed in an earlier video. The link for that is also in the description. Tip number 7, use your own personal experience. While most of us don't have lives that are exciting enough to be portrayed in a movie or book, you can still draw from your own life experience and make it into something cool using the earlier tip of playing the what if game. Perhaps thinking back and ask yourself, what if I had asked that person out? How would my life have played out differently? They may have turned into a spy, and now you're drawn into a world of intrigue. Maybe, it could happen. Make sure, though, to change things up enough, especially the names of the people, so no one comes back to sue you for portraying them in a negative light. And tip number 8. Wait for genre mashup. If you have more than one genre that you would like to write in, like crime fiction and science fiction, come up with a crime story set in the future of, say, 400 years from now. Think of how things could be different and what would be the same. Murder would still be illegal, but what advances in technology would exist then that would help an investigation and possibly help the criminals? Tip number 9. Character exploration. You can always come up with a character and think of a story that would fit around them. There are many craft books out there and articles on the net and videos here on YouTube that can help with that. And I will do my own video in the future. Stay tuned for that. Tip number 10, setting exploration. What type of story would fit in a bustling city, a rural setting, on a spaceship or colony or any fantasy world? Tip number 11, you can do the historical events reimagined. Other books have been done, why not you? So, think of all the major events in the world history and how the world would be different if they never happened. Something like, what if one of the major empires throughout history never fell? How could that play out? And how would it be in the modern world? And there you have it, my 11 tips for coming up with a fictional story. I hope they helped you, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.